Boys, do I have a special one for you all today. Today marks the return of build videos here on the channel, and we're starting off strong, real strong. Let me go ahead and just, ask you a few questions. Do you have troubles staying alive from time to time? Do you want to clear entire rooms of enemies in seconds? Do you want to be able to tank multiple up-close hits from a boss straight to the face without even breaking a sweat? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then, well, this build is for you. That's right, boys, Papa myfi is back, and with me, I bring a build that is going to allow you to turn into a literal tank. With this build, you're going to be able to take tons of damage, but also deal tons of damage. But first, if you're new, and only if you enjoy the videos or have ever found them useful, then feel free to subscribe. Also, this video is sponsored by G Fuel. I am partnered with G Fuel, and if you would like to pick some up in prep for the world's first raid race, then you can save 10% using code myfi at checkout. Links to G Fuel in the description. Okay, plugs done. Let's get into the build that I am officially naming the Big Chungus. Now, if you're unaware of how we do builds here on the channel, allow me to lay it out for you. First, I am going to go over everything we need for the build while explaining how everything works in conjunction with one another. Then I'm going to be putting the whole build in action. The very first thing we are going to need is going to be the brand new Titan Exotic Icefall Mantle. The exotic perk on these new gauntlets reads, replace your barricade ability with a personal armor reinforcement that absorbs a small amount of damage. While reinforced, you are slowed and your barricade does not recharge. So the dumbed down version, TLDR, is you no longer have a barricade. Instead, whenever you activate your class ability, you gain an armor of ice. An armor of ice. 100 extra HP to be exact. 100. That's like over 50% extra HP on command. You are also no longer able to sprint, use your lift jump, or slide. Next up is going to be mods. We are going to be using a combination of Charge with Light mods and Warmind Cell mods. First is Taking Charge, which is going to allow us to become charged with light anytime we pick up an Orb of Power. They used to be called Orbs of Light, now they're called Orbs of Power. If I call it an Orb of Light, I'm sorry, okay? That's what I'm just used to it being called. Then the mod using our Charges of Light is going to be Protective Light. This mod is going to give you a significant damage resistance against all enemies whenever your shields are low, aka whenever your little white health bar at the top of your screen is taken below 25%. Then the next mod on this list is going to be Global Reach. This mod is going to allow your Warmind cells to affect and damage enemies at a greater distance. But the main reason we are running this mod is to give us the ability to even create Warmind cells in the first place. I'll get into what weapon you'll be using to create Warmind cells in just a second. The next mod, and the first mod to tie into Warmind cells, is going to be Warmind's Protection. This mod is going to give us a reduction in damage from enemies that are near our Warmind cells. Then our last mod and our second mod to tie into Warmind cells is going to be Power of Rasputin, which is going to increase our weapon damage to all enemies that are near our Warmind cells. Now, a quick tip. You'll know which enemies are being affected by Warmind's Protection and Power of Rasputin because, well, they'll glow orange, like bright orange. You can't miss it. Now, one last thing on the armor side, go ahead and slap on as many resilience mods as you can. I know, okay, trust me, I'm not crazy. I haven't lost it. I know in the past that I've said you should care about recovery more because outside of PvP, resilience does nothing. And well, that's still correct, but this build is focused around being a tank, and with the exotic Icefall Mantle turning your class ability into an Armor of Ice and Titan's class ability recharge rate being tied to resilience, well, the more resilience you have, the faster you'll get your class ability back, aka your Armor of Ice. Now, on to the weapon side of things. You're only gonna need 2 weapons, so it's pretty straightforward. First is going to be the king of ad clear, the Aquilos SMG. Remember when I said I'd tell you what gun is going to be generating Warmind cells? Well, this is it. I know the Global Reach mod states 7th Seraph weapons, but it also allows Aquilos weapons to generate Warmind cells. I made a video a few months back explaining why this weapon is the best primary in the game, and for right now, that still stands. Our second weapon is going to be the Falling Guillotine, and this is going to be our boss damage weapon. Falling Guillotine is one of, if not the best, swords in the game, and I can guarantee if the boss can be sworded, then this sword is the sword that can put them down in seconds. Remember, we are a tank, and taking a few up-close hits from a boss is all part of being a Titan, or part of the plan. Now finally, the subclass is going to be the new Stasis subclass Behemoth. This is really for our melee ability, which is going to allow us to pop our Armor of Ice while behind cover, then go flying into battle thanks to the huge melee lunge. Also, it's new, and I like new things. Now, the game plan for this build is going to be as follows. If you're casually going about your business, killing ads, well, whenever you get a Warmind cell to spawn, thanks to your Ikilos SMG and Global Reach, you can just shoot it and it will take out pretty much everything in the immediate area. Then whenever you're in areas with low tier ads and ultras or majors, you're going to want to kill enough ads until a Warmind cell spawns. But you are not going to shoot it. Instead, you are going to check if the majors or ultras in the room or area are glowing. If they are, get to cover, then activate your ice armor. From there, come out from cover and use your melee ability to close the gap on them extremely fast. Like I'm talking, you press that button and you're gonna go flying in. Once you're up close, whip out that big, girthy falling guillotine and open up your attack with a heavy spin, which thanks to Power of Rasputin should immediately one-shot them, whether they're a major or an ultra. From there, with your ice armor still on and protection of the Warmind / Power of Rasputin still active, you can turn to the next major or ultra and deal with them. If there are none, then go ahead and destroy the Warmind cell, which should clear the rest of the room. Now finally for bosses, well, it's almost identical to the last scenario. Clear a few ads and get a Warmind cell. From there, activate ice armor and go flying in at the boss with your melee and start slicing and dicing with falling guillotine. You got 100 extra health with your ice shield. If there's a Warmind cell nearby, then you're taking less damage if the boss does attack, but also doing more damage. And if your shield is broken and you get below 25% health, then as long as you picked up a few orbs of power, then Protective Light will kick in, making you extremely resistant to damage. And if your ice shield is ever broken, don't forget that immediately upon it breaking, you regain full movement again. So if you do end up getting weak, then Protective Light is going to kick in and is going to protect you long enough for you to then use your movement abilities to get to cover and regen your ice armor and health. Also, if you're in a sticky situation where your health is low, you can just activate ice armor in a group of ads, which will immediately slow / freeze the ads. And your normal health, the little white bar underneath the blue one where your health is, will begin regening even if you're taking damage to your ice armor. And on top of all this, you also have your stasis super, your aspect, and your fragments for sliding into crystals, blowing up frozen enemies in the crystals, and any enemies close to the crystals. Yeah, this build has everything you could ever want. Unless you want Wither Horde because, well, that's still disabled. And there we go. In my opinion, this is one of the best Titan PvE builds you can run, and I'll be running this for the foreseeable future. I know some people really don't like Icefall Mantles, or Icefall Mantle, and for PvP, I can understand because PvP requires a lot of movement, and well, this exotic restricts your movement a lot. But for PvE, they are amazing and work so well with so many mods. If you haven't gotten these exotic gauntlets, then I highly recommend you get to farm in those legendary lost sectors so you can give this build a go. With all that being said, the rest of the video is going to be me running some strikes with this build so you can see it in full action. Also remember, code myfi if you want to pick up some G Fuel in preparation for the release of the Deepstone Crypt Raid on Saturday. And finally, if you enjoyed the video, then feel free to drop a like and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.
Jokey got the sauce, bitch.